Hi, it's Nora Bachman, pediatric physical therapist in Santa Monica. One of the most fun things for parents to do with a baby is help them stand and walk. And we've often seen a kiddo walking like this, hands overhead, and really the parents doing all the work. And while, as a general rule, I would never say never do something, it's okay to kind of play around. If you're actually trying to help your child walk, then you definitely don't want their hands up above their head. You want to try and replicate the way that they will walk when you're not there as closely as possible. So when we are standing and walking around, our arms are usually at our sides. So while they need additional support to stand and walk, your hands should be closer to their middle. Not only does this provide good support, but it also provides crucial input for the child. By touching their belly and touching their back, you're activating those muscles. You're showing them, hey, you got to turn on, you got to help me so that I can balance and stand and walk. So let's say you want to help your child walk. First of all, if they are incapable of standing with this support as opposed to this, then they may not actually be ready to practice walking. And just consider that by doing this, you're teaching a bad habit, but you're also potentially putting a lot of strain on the shoulders. Again, if you do it once in a while, no big deal, but it's just not a great practice to do on a regular basis. Instead, let's have your hands around the belly, sort of the middle torso, and sometimes kiddos will maybe be a little frustrated, especially if they've been helped to walk in a different way and they just go dead weight. That is a classic move that all babies are born with. They don't want to do it your way, so they're not going to do it at all. Oftentimes, that is just a battle of wills, and as the therapist, I will try and distract them out of that. So instead, we'll do some jumping, we'll do some swimming, we'll sing a song until I can get them to take some weight through their legs. And you can really feel the difference when they activate their leg muscles and start to take some weight when you're doing less. The other thing is, as adults, we're a lot taller than little kids, so it requires a lot more squatting and hunching from us. So if you can get your hands on like a rolling chair or scooter, that's optimal, so you hurt your back a little bit less. If not, really try and bend those legs and squat down instead of leaning over too long. Keep your hands on belly and back. And the way that I like to help is, let's say we're just practicing standing. My four fingers are on my kiddo's belly and my thumbs are on her back. If we're just practicing standing and I notice that she's leaning really far forward, what I want to do is press into her back with my thumbs. Now, this is going to make her go a little more forward and may seem counterintuitive. But actually, what I'm doing is showing her, hey, you're leaning too far forward, but if you push into these muscles in your back, you'll come back up and be upright. Same thing with if she's leaning back into me. If I push with my four fingers on her belly, it activates those muscles and tells her, hey, push over here. This is where you want to go. So instead of leaning so far backwards, she comes up forwards. And we're looking for that middle ground. We're just trying to help her get her balance. So you may go back and forth between fingers and thumbs. And obviously, I'm using a lot of pressure just to make my point. You just want to use a little bit of a touch. Once I have her balanced and she's comfortable with that, we want to help her take her steps. So before you take a step, you're weight shifting. So your weight is going from one side to the other. I'm going to exaggerate this so you can really see. Let's say I want her to take a step with her right foot. I'm going to lean her, shift her ever so slightly to her left, and hopefully she lifts her right foot. If she doesn't, I can give her a little bit of help at her knee, at her thigh, at the lower leg if I need to. If she's not taking a step, again, it may be too early. Maybe we can just work on these weight shifts, and maybe we can just work on balancing forward and back. But ideally, if she is ready to walk, but she's just not quite comfortable, I'm going to try and keep my hands around her middle, not up in her armpits, and generally just sort of around the rib cage or a little lower. And I'm just going to try and go with her and feel when I'm helping her Is she leaning too far in any direction? If I weren't here and she was leaning that much, would she fall? Now, if the answer is yes, it's important to allow her to feel that so that, yeah, she falls. Oh no, we went too far. And maybe I just slow her down and then we can get back to it again. We can stand up and try again. But it's really important that you help her identify, I'm losing my balance. Her body needs to recognize that, send a message to the brain. The brain has to respond with its muscles. She needs to understand, I'm losing my balance, and this is how I correct it. As parents, it can be really hard to watch your child fall. You want them to be successful at all times. But beyond this immediate moment, the most success that my child is going to have with standing, walking, balance, any of those things, is if she can be independent in identifying, oh, wait, I'm losing my balance. My body knows what to do to prevent that fall. If I am constantly there as the parent or the caregiver, keeping her up, she does not recognize, I'm falling. What do I do? And it's way harder to learn how to catch yourself if you can't identify that you're losing your balance. So, really allow them to feel the result of their actions. So, she's leaning too far. Oh no, we went down. No big deal. Let's try again. And again, I get that that can be hard, but as much as you can, allow them to feel the consequence and help them be independent.